All right, let's do a habit tier list. Okay, so over the years, I have tried most of the habits that people suggest for being happier, healthier, and more productive. And although I've stuck with a few of them, I've abandoned most of them because in my opinion, they don't work. So today we're going to run through the most commonly recommended habits, and I'm going to rate them on a combination of how much they've actually helped me, how much scientific evidence there is that they'll help you, and how easy they are to actually do. And I'm going to tackle these in the order that most people do them over the course of their day. So yeah, let's go. Wake up at 5 a.m. or earlier. Okay, yeah, no thanks. I have done this occasionally in my life, mainly when my girlfriend had a job that meant she had to get up at this time, and it didn't really do anything for me. I do think you can get a lot done if you wake up before everybody else and work without distractions. Now I mostly get up between 6 a.m. and 7, and I think that's completely fine. Also, the science is pretty clear that not getting at least 7 hours of sleep a day could be setting you up for like cardiovascular and metabolic damage, even if you feel fine during the day. So unless you're going to bed at 10 p.m. or earlier, then definitely don't do this. I do think it's worth getting in the habit of getting up when it's time to get up, and my trick for that is just going 1, 2, 3, let's go. Although it does help to have a 6-year-old. D tier, making your bed. Okay, making your bed is amazing. It's a small thing that's really easy to accomplish. It sets you up for the rest of the day, it gets you in the right mindset to do things, and it's the first thing you should do every morning. S tier, yoga. I think yoga's alright. Actual yoga comes with a bunch of associations that you may or may not buy into, but I definitely think there's a lot to be said for having a regular stretching and mobility routine that you can kind of run through without thinking about it too much. I don't do yoga, but I still have a short list of hip mobility drills that I used to do for jiu-jitsu and still do pretty regularly, and I think they're kind of great. Yoga / some sort of mobility, B tier. 100 press-ups a day, don't do this. Too much for your shoulders, you won't recover properly, and it's not actually that effective anyway. If you are going to do this many press-ups, at least do some band pull-aparts as well. D tier. Exercise in general. On exercise, I don't think you need to do a dedicated workout every day. I work out pretty hard 3 days a week, and then on the other days I try to do something that's kind of active but isn't actually like blasting my CNS. And that could just be a longish walk, chasing my son or whatever. There are definitely huge benefits to movement, but I don't think it matters if you're not doing a dedicated workout every day. Exercise is kind of A tier. Reading. Okay, I definitely think you should be reading every day, maybe even in different bits of the day. I usually read a bit of non-fiction that relates to stuff I'm working on when I first get up, and then some sort of fiction or gentle science stuff before bed. I always feel better when I read, and it does everything from giving you ideas to kind of building your empathy and your general knowledge of the world. It might reduce stress. Reading is great. A tier. Cold showers. Okay, I've tried these a bit. They definitely do what they're advertised to do, which is to kind of activate your parasympathetic nervous system and calm you down. The reason I don't like doing them is because I think regular showers are really valuable for putting your brain in what's called the default mode network, which is where it kind of works on other things and helps you solve problems. And so I don't think it's necessarily the best idea to like ruin one of the most creative moments of your day by like gritting your teeth and getting under a really cold faucet. Cold showers, D tier. Meditation. All right, I've tried meditation a couple of times and I don't think it works for me. Maybe one day I'll find a practice that I can actually do, but as it is, none of the apps or methods that I've tried have been very effective. Science definitely suggests that there are benefits to meditation, so it's definitely worth trying, but I think that maybe I get some of those benefits from things like piano, where you're completely focused on one thing and kind of shutting the rest of the world out anyway. Meditation seems to work for other people, doesn't really do anything for me. B tier. To-do lists. All right, you have to have a to-do list. Sometimes I go a few days without making one because I just want to launch straight into my work, and then I remember how valuable they actually are, and then I go straight back to making to-do lists. My 2 key tips for having a to-do list are, firstly, make it physical, because there's something about having a post-it note right in front of you that is a lot more immediate than having like a checklist on your phone or a computer. And secondly, put little boxes on it that you can put check marks in instead of crossing everything off, because that makes it easier to check on what you've done and to kind of add bits in if you need to. To-do list, S tier. Hydration. Hydration is huge. About a year ago, I got one of those massive 2-litre water bottles, and so I fill it up every morning and make sure I chug the whole thing before I go to bed at night. And honestly, I feel like it's been a game changer. I feel a lot more alert, I feel better at the gym, and I drink less coffee, which I think makes me feel less tired. Maybe it's the water keeping my systems online, maybe it's the other stuff that I don't snack on, but drinking lots of water is A tier for me. Gratitude. All right, a lot of people like practicing gratitude, and there are studies that suggest that people who consciously take time to acknowledge the things that they're grateful for end up happier and less depressed than people who don't. The thing is, I do feel like gratitude lists get a bit cheesy, And after a while of doing them, you're kind of just saying that you're grateful for the same things over and over again. And so I think a kind of more organic way of practicing gratitude is to do something that Kurt Vonnegut recommends, which is to occasionally stop what you're doing when you're having a nice time and say to yourself, if this isn't nice, I don't know what is. Chilled out gratitude, like B tier. Practicing a skill. So practicing a skill that I want to improve at every day is something that I find super valuable. The exact benefits are going to kind of depend on what you're practicing, but I think the meta benefit is a way of making sure you feel like you're moving forward in your life every day, even if everything else is kind of on pause. So if you have a bad day and work's going nowhere, that 10 minutes of piano you did is definitely going to help you out. Practicing a skill, A tier. Decluttering. I think it's super important to do some sort of cleaning or decluttering every day. Firstly, because it's easier than doing a big effort all in one go when you absolutely have to do it. And secondly, because it just means you live in a nicer environment most of the time. So one rule that I try to stick to is that whenever I clean up like a little mess, like a little spill on the sideboard, I try and leave things even cleaner than they were before. So I'll like wipe down the whole sideboard rather than just the bit I've messed up. And I kind of have a vague rotation of stuff every day. So like one day is wipe down the bathroom, one day is do the ovens. It's so much easier than spending 2 hours of your weekend doing it. And it really does make you feel like you've accomplished something. Screen curfews. I am terrible at sticking to a screen curfew. I tend to work late and I have a lot to do. So it's pretty common that I'm looking at a screen 5 minutes before bed. And I don't really have any trouble getting to sleep. One thing I don't ever do is go on screens when I'm already in bed, whether that's in the morning or in the evening. And so my body, I think, completely associates bed with sleep, and I sleep pretty well. Screen curfew, C tier. No screens in bed, S tier. So the actual things that I do every day are basically making my bed, doing a little bit of exercise, staying hydrated, doing some cleaning, making a to-do list, and working on a skill. I hope that's helpful, and if you found this video useful, you might want to learn more about how I structure my day and my week here. Thanks for watching.